Was it right? What I did?
Ask me again in 10 years.
Try not to worry, Ollie. I've been worrying about Jon for years. He always comes back.
The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones video. Alright, my friends, in this video, I will show you why we may never actually see HBO release their new series about Jon Snow. It's unfortunate because I was very excited about the idea of seeing what happens in Westeros after the events of the Game of Thrones finale. Well, as you all know, Game of Thrones actor Kit Harington has been developing his own show with HBO. Although the network has never made their own official announcement about the Jon Snow show, this information has been revealed by George R. R. Martin as well as many other actors from the original Game of Thrones series. HBO has been working on a number of different shows based on George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels. Many of them have already been given the green light, like House of the Dragon and the new series about Dunk and Egg. Well, according to George R. R. Martin, Mr. Harington has been working on his own show about Jon Snow for many years, basically ever since Game of Thrones ended. Not only did he have his own showrunners, but he brought his own writers as well. In fact, they all met George R. R. Martin at his home in Santa Fe to discuss how they wanted to make the show. Even George himself seemed very excited about this idea. Now, before I go any further and show you why we may never see this show air on HBO, I have to let all of you know about this amazing new offer. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Atlas VPN. As I'm sure most of you already know, all of us are at risk on a daily basis as more and more of our information and data goes onto the internet. What some of you may not know is the best way to protect your information is by the use of a VPN. I actually use mine every single day. I won't even turn on any of my devices unless I'm already connected. Well, this month, I've joined forces with Atlas VPN to bring you the most affordable deal on online protection for as little as $1.70 per month plus 6 months extra, and they also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Atlas VPN not only guards your identity, but it also blocks malware and malicious links. Their service will make sure your internet searches stay private. They notify you when someone might be trying to steal your identity, and they even give you access to online shopping deals. One of my favorite things about Atlas VPN is that you can gain access to content in other regions on different streaming services like Netflix. For example, if something's only available in the UK, all you have to do is change your location to get access to it in the US. Right now, Atlas VPN is running a massive Black Friday discount for only $1.70 per month plus 6 months extra, and don't forget, there is that 30-day money-back guarantee. You don't want to miss out on this amazing offer. All you have to do is click the link down in my description. Once again, I'd like to thank Atlas VPN for sponsoring today's video. Although no one has revealed the show's outline, we did get a small glimpse about what direction they might head in during Kit Harington's interview at a fan convention. He basically let us know why he was interested in developing a story about Jon Snow's life after the events in Game of Thrones.
My question is the fact that your character Jon Snow, he goes through such a progression throughout the seasons. He's a ward, he goes to war, so many things happen to him. He finds out that he is, he's a Targaryen, and then he unfortunately has to kill Dany, and then he goes, they throw him in jail, and then he ends up back on the wall. Do you ever feel like your character may have been cheated? He kind of goes back to, the wall isn't exactly the most comfy place on earth. Yeah. I felt bad for him.
Yeah. I think if you asked him, he would have felt he got off lightly. At the end of the show, when we find him in that cell, he's preparing to be beheaded. And he wants to be. He's done. Like, the fact he goes to the wall is the greatest gift to him. And also the greatest curse. He's got to go back up to the place with all this history and live out his life thinking about how he killed Dany. And live out his life thinking about Ygritte dying in his arms. And live out his life thinking about how he hung Ollie. And live out his life thinking about all of this trauma. And that That's interesting. So, I think that when we leave him at the end of the show, there's always this feeling of like, I think we wanted some kind of little smile, things are okay. He's not okay. He's not okay.
Since HBO has never denied these confirmations by Amelia and George R. R. Martin, I assumed they were still working on the Jon Snow show. Well, according to a recent interview by HBO CEO, it now looks like Jon Snow will be in hibernation while he's out beyond the wall. I actually believe this is a mistake, because as I've said before, I think this series would find more success than House of the Dragon. Every Game of Thrones fan would want to see what happens after Dany's death, Sansa and Bran's coronation, Arya's adventures in the West, as well as Jon's exit from the Night's Watch. We all know Jon would eventually head south again for some unknown reason, resulting in him reuniting with all of his old friends and foes. I think it would be amazing. Now let's have a look at this new article so you're able to see what HBO's CEO had to say. The headline states, Game of Thrones' Jon Snow show isn't happening anytime soon, and here's why. For the foreseeable future, HBO's lineup will be like Westeros during the long summer. No sign of snow. The new Game of Thrones series centered on Kit Harington's character is nowhere near to getting an official go-ahead from the network, HBO CEO and chairman Casey Bloys recently said. In fact, none of the saga's other offshoots are anywhere near ready for release. We always have Game of Thrones scripts in development. We greenlit Duncan Egg in the spring, he said, referring to the full series order for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, which is based on a Game of Thrones author George R. R. Martin's Duncan Egg novellas. However, the immensely popular show's other spin-offs, none of which HBO has officially recognized, we should mention, have a long night ahead of them, if they ever see the light of day. I wouldn't say there is anything else in that universe that is close to a green light or anything, HBO CEO added, but we're always working on different ideas. In 2021, he also stressed that the Game of Thrones successor shows that would move forward would be the ones that are the strongest based on several measures. Obviously, we know George has this incredible universe with all of this really rich and complicated history and all of these characters, he told TVLine at the time. So we've been trying to be thoughtful about what are the stories that are worth developing. What would be exciting? What would the fans love, he said. Duncan Egg is one of those, but not the only one. George R. R. Martin made news back in June of last year by confirming that Harington would revisit his Game of Thrones role in a series about Jon Snow, aka Aegon Targaryen. He said the show's working title was Snow, and that Harington was deeply involved in the making of it. Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke later said that he had told her about it when she said, "I know it does exist, it's actually happening." So we have known about this show for well over a year. I do wonder why HBO has never officially made their own announcement about it. Even now, during this new interview, HBO CEO still doesn't mention the Jon Snow series by name. All he really says is their main focus is on House of the Dragon and Duncan Egg. No other shows will be given a green light, at least no time soon. Why do you think they still haven't confirmed this information? Is it because they've always known the Jon Snow show wouldn't get made, or are they wanting it to stay a secret for some other reason? When George R. R. Martin made the announcement on his Naughty last year, it really felt like the show was moving along nicely. Maybe the actors and writers' strike negatively affected its development. We may never know. I hope that either HBO, George R. R. Martin, or Harington himself will shed some light on the situation sometime soon. I'd like to know what's actually happening with the show. For now, it looks like we won't be seeing Jon Snow or any other original Game of Thrones character back in Westeros anytime soon. Hopefully they don't forget about this idea forever. Either way, I'm still very excited to see House of the Dragon's second season, as well as the new series about Duncan Egg. Let me know what you think about this new information down below. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching another video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.